3 Wednesdays ago where the Spirit of God fell upon a campus in Asbury, Kentucky, Asbury College. And the young people just all of a sudden, who didn't have any hunger for God, got a hunger for God. And it began on a Wednesday morning. It went all night long, and then the next day and the next day, and more people began to come. More and more people began to come, and then it just kept on going and kept on going. And now it has spread from that college campus. Listen to this: into 6 states, in 20 other colleges, where the young people can't get enough of God. I'm telling you, we are in a midst of the move of the Holy Ghost. And it's time to stir up the hunger. We are in the midst of a mighty move of God. Like I said, those people came in here this morning. Don't know why they came in. The Holy Ghost brought them from hours and hours away, Samokin Dam and some other places. And like I said, the 2 ladies, they were crippled up. And when the hands were laid on them, instantly they were free. We didn't have to work with them. They were free. I mean, they were free. They couldn't hardly walk even with their walking sticks. And God's doing miracles right now. And I really believe with all my heart this year's theme is the book of Acts all over again. And I believe we're already beginning to experience it. I believe if you came here with a need tonight, if you just put your faith out there, that God is going to take care of that need. God's going to do a mighty work. And so right before I came over, Sister Joanna Herden called me up, Jacko's daughter, and she was so excited because she's connected to so many churches. And she said, "How was your church service this morning, Pastor Mike?" And I told her, I said, "Man, heaven came down and glory filled our soul." She said, "It's everywhere." She said it's everywhere. She said the pastor she was talking to, she said that God showed up and God is moving and God is doing, and it's just hitting across this nation. And so back in 1975, right after I was saved, about 2 months, I was in my barracks one night alone praying, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I knew something was about to happen, and I fell to my knees, and I'm telling you, a physical white portal opened up into my barracks. And I'm telling you, an angel of the Lord, because liars will go to hell. It wasn't my imagination. Paul said, whether in the body, out of the body, I don't know. An angel stepped in to my room, and I fell as a dead man. This angel, I didn't see him real good because I fell as a dead man. He was probably over 6, 7, 8 feet tall, dressed in complete white. And all of a sudden, his thundering voice said to me, "Stand upon thy feet, O son of man." And he grabbed me and picked me up like I was a feather. Now, to make a long story short, because I'm not, Brother Gary's preaching tonight, but I went into that porthole and he took me into heaven. Now, when I got into heaven, he took me into a place that was like the Garden of Eden. I mean, just amazing. It's in my books. But anyways, then he was gone. Well, I ended up walking this narrow, like beautiful cobbled stone pathway into a tremendous forest. And as I'm walking through this forest, the presence of God was so thick. I can't describe it to you. It's just all my senses were alive and real, more so than what they are now on this earth. And so all of a sudden, the trees, there were like redwood trees, were filled. And it's a spiritual shadow, a typology. The trees were filled with birds of all colors, shapes, sizes, and they were all praising God. While I'm standing there, I'm just caught up in these birds worshiping God. Tears are rolling down my cheek, and all of a sudden the angel's behind me, and the angel said to me, and there was no fear in my heart, with a booming voice, "Do you know what these are, son of man?" And I said, "No, I'm weeping. I said, "No, what are they?" He said, "It's the last great harvest." Just instantly, all of these nations were brought in. And he said, "And you will have a part of it." Now, he didn't say I'm bringing it. He said, "I will have a part of it." Well, I'm weeping and crying, and the angel disappears. Next thing you know, I'm on a sea of glass standing before the throne of God. At that time, I was such a baby Christian, I didn't even know there was a sea of glass. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. Well, when this revival hit in Asbury, my heart was filled with so much joy. Because we've been waiting. I've been waiting 48 years as of yesterday, to see the fulfilling of that visitation. And so I asked the Lord, I said, "Lord, is this it? Is this the beginning of the last great harvest?" Well, right before I left the house tonight, I got an email from a person I don't even know. And this email said, Pastor Mike, I know you don't know me. He said, but I need to tell you a story. He said, 2 days ago, I had a dream. He said, and you were in the dream. He said, I didn't even know who you were, but you were in the dream. I've never seen you before. You were in the dream. He said, in this dream, my father and I were in Asbury revival. Now, we've never been there, but I'm sitting on the floor worshiping God. He's sitting in a chair. He said, next thing I know, there's this guy that has this suit that is standing next to my dad. He walks up to my dad. I thought he was going to talk to him. But the moment that he stood in front of my dad and me were outside of the building. He said, we were on a driveway, and I've got the email to show you. He said, we were on the driveway. He said, and I looked up behind the guy in the suit, and he said the trees were full of birds. Full of birds. He said, I don't know if this means anything to you. He said, they're so full of birds. He said, I didn't even think there were birds. The trees were just thick with birds. He said, and all of a sudden, the guy in the suit, he turns around, and he makes some kind of tune. He makes a tune to the birds. He said the minute he began to speak to the birds, he said they all flew off of the tree and began to spread into the four corners of the earth. He said, I don't know if this means anything to you, but these birds just flew off like they were taking the gospel to all of the world. He said, and I came out of the dream. He said, well, amazingly, somebody sent me a link from your YouTube channel. He said, I clicked on it. He said, you were the guy in the suit. See, I asked the Lord for a confirmation that the revival we're in right now is what the angel of the Lord showed me of the last great harvest. And we're not hyping this. It's happening right now. Now, I don't know how many colleges right now have got this. I guarantee it's more than 20 colleges. It was 20 colleges as of yesterday that the young people are gathering, and they can't worship enough and they can't pray enough. I got contacted by YouTube. In the last 3 days, my YouTube channel has had 1,500,000 visits. We're in the midst of revival. But what's going to make the difference is, how hungry are you? Are you going to miss the day of visitation, or are you going to jump in? Are you going to grab a hold by faith and say, yes, Lord, I'm going to be a part of this last great harvest?